Hey, I've just been wanting to record a video on Sevagoth and how good he is with the Tenet Arca Plasmor with the new update. And it was still good before the update, but now it's even better. So, here we go. So, this is my Sevagoth. He's mainly focused on ability strength and ability efficiency, because he's going to be spamming a lot of Reap, spamming a lot of Sow, keeping Gloom on, and keeping Optimize on. You're going to want these arcanes and this aura mainly for the extra power strength and the extra damage you'll be getting from Shadow Haze and Reap. So with of maxed out Arcane Ice Storm, which I don't have, and Molt Augmented and Growing Power, you're gonna get an extra 125 power strength and an extra 40 duration through this one. It is an extremely good mod for this build. I recommend it. If you don't have Molt Augmented, it's okay, but get Arcane Ice Storm because it is extremely good. And it replaces the 40 strength we're missing. So, main damage, well, not main damage, but main weapon platforming that you're going to be using, you need this mod because it's what gives you the extra critical chance. It's just an extremely broken mod. Through this build, this frame can get around 424 power strength, so you'll be getting 200 extra critical chance, and it's a flat buff, which means if your weapon has 1% crit chance, with this on, it's gonna do 201 crit chance. It's gonna have that, and it's just amazing. So you'll have guaranteed red, or well, with this guaranteed orange crits if your weapon has 0% crit chance. But most weapons have enough for you to at least get reds, which is why it's so good for if you like getting those red numbers. Optimize, you could switch this out for pillage. I don't know if I mentioned it. The problem being with pillage is that pillage on Demolist and Acolytes doesn't do 100% of what it should be doing, because if you try to hit shield, it only does a percentage of that, and it never 100% gets rid of shields, even if you have 400 strength. I do have a build on Sevagoth that has pillage, but I just don't like it anymore because of Optimize that's out. Optimize, really recommend it. Jade is a good frame, but I really like her as Helminth food right now. You could go with something like Styanax's ability, but he doesn't have slowed in it, which is what I like. Because if you didn't know, slowed abilities stack. This is why I have a build with the Goth that has Gloom, because you pretty much can freeze enemies without cold procs. So they just can't move. Recommended. Don't have to have it. That's what I do. I just love being able to strip armor because more damage. You get the damage vulnerability and the crit chance and the naked enemy. Next, the Tenet Arca Plasmor. Like I previously said, I do have a candidate mod, which means you won't be able to affect the fire rate either positive or negatively, and that punch through really doesn't matter for me because infinite body punch through thanks to the Arca Plasmor. Best thing is the 240% damage, which is more than what you would have on a normal primed or normal point blank setup, which is this one's maxed out would be 150. I'd rather just have this. That's why this is mainly just to show you the base damage it has and how good it is. You can probably switch this out for Hunter Munitions, Bane mod. My Bane mods currently aren't leveled up, that's why I don't have it. But if they did, they would be way better. This gun would be way better. Hunter Munitions, of course, because if you're going to level cap, the slashes on this will be amazing. Or if you just want even more critical damage for even bigger base damage hits, you can go for Shrapnel Shot for that 99% critical damage. You can switch Prime Ravage with Shrapnel Shot if you have the normal Ravage as well. I just like having the just directly there. So critical deceleration just to have that 66%, even though it doesn't have much crit damage, thanks to this, it'll be at least almost guaranteed red crits with Sevagoth's crit buff. That's why I have it. You can use something else like the base one so you don't have the negative fire rate, but since I have the Cannonade mod, negative fire rate doesn't really affect me. I have Toxic Barrage, so I have built-in Viral. I did get Magnetic on this Arca Plasmor. which is even better now thanks to the damage increases, like the new damage table that they made. Magnetic is actually good, and you can actually get electric procs. You actually do electric procs, and you do more damage against Overguard, which is won't really matter with Sevagoth, because if you didn't know, Sevagoth's nuke works on overguarded enemies, which I'll show you later on. Radiation, just because you can have radiation. It's just extremely, extremely, extremely good. It has radiation base. There you go. It's not really well balanced with viral being above everything, but it's only really bad against infested Deimos and the Murmur, which aren't the main things you're fighting. Though the Murmur is usually end game, you're not really gonna be fighting them that much because most missions don't have them. Same thing for infested Deimos enemies. This extremely good. Primary Frostbite, like I said, I need that critical damage and multi-shot. Base damage, base damage, base damage, nothing else. You could switch out Cannonade mod and Prime Point Blank for the base mod, but I'd rather just have it static, have that damage so you don't have to build up anything. This one, it's easy to build up because as a secondary, I'll have the Epitaph, which has Force Cold, and my pet also brings cold into the table, so I'll always have that primary Frostbite on and active, so the damage never goes down. Next, that's it. I'll just show you what he can do. Next, it's the pet. The weapon is wrong for me, because there's a weapon that gives you both impact and puncture, which impact, if you don't know, it stuns enemies, and puncture gives you extra critical chance on weapon hits with enough stacks. But the build is about right. I don't have this, maxed out, but this is usually what I'm gonna have. You could probably put more mods if you have this with a Oregon Catalyst, but I don't. You'll be applying all of these: slash, radiation, impact, cold, and gas. I mainly have cold because when I explain my weapon, it's gonna have frostbite, primary frostbite, which with cold procs it gives me extra critical damage and multi-shot. So that's why my pet has just mainly cold. You could put viral, but my weapon already does viral, so I don't really need it. It's extremely, extremely good. And you'll see why cold is also extreme, not just to proc primary frostbite, but it can also freeze enemies very, very well because of the ability these hounds have. These hounds have I can't say it right. Synergized Prospectus. Sorry if I said it wrong. Through this and Manifold Bond is a yeah. Precept mods are able to apply the status effects on your weapon, which means that you'll be applying all those statuses that I showed you, and electric, because it does electric. It just has a base electric hit, and through Repo Audit will also apply status effects, but it's even better because it disarms. So it does need line of sight, but when it disarms an enemy, it's capable of putting radiation onto them, which means you have like a pocket Loki. If you don't know what radial disarm on Loki does, it gives them a confusion status and it gets rid of their weapons. So that's pretty much what my pet is doing. And also this 30-meter hit range is really good for synth deconstruct, because whenever an enemy is injured by a companion, it has a 25% chance to drop a health orb. That's why we have Equilibrium on Sevagoth, for, that energy efficiency. I have Guardian just so I can shield gate. Manifold Bond gets rid of like the companion ability cooldowns for 3 seconds, and Guardian has a 30-second cooldown. But all I have to do is kill 3 enemies. No, not 3 enemies, 10 enemies, and with 3 or more status effects. But they're already gonna have those thanks to my hound. I have calculated redirection so that reinforced bond works. These hounds are one of the few pets that can have this many shields just base, so you don't have to care about building overshield, and I get an extra fire rate 60%. It's not really useful on the Arca Plasmor because I have the Cannonade mods on it, which I'll show you next, which don't let me increase this fire rate at higher or lower than what its base is. So Seismic Bond, extremely, extremely, extremely useful. Again, why? Ability efficiency. It should it gives you 30% extra ability efficiency, which is extremely good. And because you have Gloom on, which is a, let me see where it is. It's a channeled ability. It is always on. That means that these shockwaves should be applying damage from your Hound, which helps with Synth Deconstruct even more. So with Synchronized Perspectives, Repo Audits, Seismic Bond, you're going to be hitting a lot of enemies. So a lot of health orbs, a lot of health orbs will drop for Equilibrium. I have Momentous Bond here, mainly just for the reduced cooldown on recovery. Just have to kill a few Eximus and he's back up. And Vacuum just to collect loot. Next, to the Arca Plasmor. Oh, shit, I don't think I mentioned this, but Galvanized Savvy is multiplicative with the Tenet Arca Plasmor, which is extremely, extremely good, because it doesn't add to the base damage. It multiplies it. It's kind of different like that from other guns. So yeah, I recommend you always have this mod on. Okay, so to show you what he can do. He is definitely above what I would say most frames damage can do. Yeah, this is Repo Audit in action. Like, see? Oh yeah, the electric pucks also stun enemies, and he will be able to freeze enemies like I said before. So you have a lot of CC just built into him, but you also have CC through Gloom and Optimize, where enemies are practically just frozen in place because both slow stack together and they just can't attack me. They can't do anything. Yeah, and they're armor stripped. You know what that means. A lot of damage. See all those red crits thanks to my Reap ability. And Shadow Haze as the augment. Extremely, extremely good damage. It can still kill. With these armor strips, the weapon can kill even without red crits. But, you know, when you get into higher levels, you'll definitely need that damage. This is just what he can do. Let me show you his nuking capability now. See this? His nuking, which is through, you have to do your sow and then reap. What it does a percentage damage. I think it's 40% of their maximum health through armor and shields, like every single hit point they have. Which kind of means you can infinitely nuke anything. As long as you have viral procced, it's an extremely, extremely good ability. Like, his nuking ability is crazy. You could build more range onto him, but I don't, because you previously could not reapply sow. So used to be that you couldn't reapply it unless everything that had sow died or your timer ran out. But now you can recast it. So you didn't get all of them? Well, guess what? You can recast it again, and that's it. They're dead. Extremely, extremely good update. I do not know if you would want to use Dark Propagation now, which is the new augment they added for sow, because you can already recast sow, and you have enough efficiency to not care about it. Optimize is, like I said, just an extremely good slow ability with Gloom. So oh yeah, let me mention the bad thing about Pillage and Optimize compared to each other. So like I was saying before, Optimize I feel is slightly better for how I play the game than Pillage, because with Optimize you can't really, let's say, shield gate unless you know you have the free for spite build, which I don't. I don't really like shield gating like that anymore because it's really annoying having to use Pillage over and over again. And I'd rather just PC enemies. Problem being, let me show you. Let me get a demo in here. Get a demo. All right, so here we're gonna have a demo with. Let's go to Pillage. All right, so with Pillage, this is a 344. This should do at least more than half his shields, but it does a shit amount. Because against Acolytes and Demolist, and probably other things like bosses, it doesn't do its full armor strip. It just doesn't. Which sucks major ass. Compared to Optimize. Which, on the other hand, use Optimize, and it gets rid of every single amount of shield it has. It's just better. For, of course, getting rid of armor and shields. And you don't have to build as much strength. It just kind of sucks. But this guy already has 400 strength, so it doesn't really matter if you use Pillage or Optimize. I'm sorry if I'm misspelling it. You know, you could still use Pillage for shield getting, but I usually don't die with this Gloom and Optimize since they're pretty much CC'd with my pet and me. Just for you to know that. So I forgot to add this, but let me show you real quick the difference between stripping shield and armor with Pillage and Optimize. So for Pillage, you have to get rid of shields first, and then get rid of armor, which, you know, kind of sucks. With Optimize, on the other hand, it's way better. You don't have to worry much about how much strength you have, because it's per second. But gets rid of shield and armor. Oh, don't have to worry about that. You know, better. Of course, like I said, shield gating, but I don't die either way, so fuck shield gating. But yeah, that's about it. You can't really go wrong with Sevagoth. Survivability is really good. Damage is amazing. He's just a really, really, really good frame for everything. He can do almost everything except, let's say, spy missions as effective as other frames. But if you need a weapon platform for weapons that you want to do crits, really good weapon. Damage vulnerability and crit chance go so well together. He doesn't have the same amount of scaling with damage vulnerability as Nezha. Nezha has way better damage vulnerability, but she doesn't give you that critical chance. So not really well, she is a weapon platform for status weapons with her new augment that came out, but you know. It's just Sevagoth is better. Let me show you the thing where Optimize can. This will go on where you're just usually getting the highest damage percentage with the amount of damage you're doing. Yeah. Addicting. Pretty addicting frame. But I just use them. I legitimately can't change to any other frame because I just like the amount of damage I do with this guy. Always outputting the best of the best. 4 million. Millions of damage just left and right. You can one-shot even like level 1000 enemies. I have brought this to level cap before. And if you find yourself not being able to do it, just nuke the fuck out of them. Doesn't matter. The frame doesn't even need a weapon to be good. Of course, if you're going to disruptions where they're immune to abilities, you definitely will need a good weapon, but I'll just use the Arca Plasmor, like I said. Really good. Alright, that's it.